All right, let's go ahead and start with what is a very interesting bit of news that just popped out earlier today. So Kittle apparently is willing to sign for less than $20 million. Well, that's what the report is coming out of The Athletic. So we just back up a little bit. Earlier this month, of course, it was all reported. We talked about it here a billion times. George Kittle wanted almost $20 million a year in his contract. And naturally, the 49ers are not insane, and so they don't want to pay him $20 million a year. But this new report, and I'll show you the quote here in a second, shows that Kittle could sign for $13 million a year. It sounds completely preposterous, but it comes from a very well verified source, and that's why we're leading with this. So Matt Barrows is the 49er reporter for The Athletic, does an absolutely fantastic job. He is as in the know as reporters come. He said this today, quote, "I recently spoke with someone in the know who said he thought Kittle ultimately would land a contract worth $13 million a year. That's not the spectacular deal some were envisioning for the 49ers' indispensable man, but it would still set the pace for all tight ends." Now, this is what I have been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks. There's no way you're going to give George Kittle $20 million a year. How about 15? How about 14? That's where I would have put it. 15, 14. You obviously reset the tight end market, but you don't absolutely obliterate your cap space by signing a tight end. As important as George Kittle is, we know that tight ends are not the reason why teams win Super Bowls. There are a lot of other more important positions. And at $13 million a year, that's exactly what it's going to be. As the report says, he's still going to be the highest paid tight end in the NFL by far. Look at that. Hunter Henry, of course, leads all tight ends with the LA Chargers, $10.61 million. Hooper's new contract with the Browns at $10.5. Travis Kelce, who many people think if it's not Kittle, it's Kelce the best tight end. He makes $9.37. And then Rudolph and Gronk are right there at $9.03 and $9 million respectively. George Kittle, in my opinion, and probably in your opinion as well, is the best tight end in the National Football League. These numbers are absolutely ridiculous. Look for these to, honestly, go up in 2020. $13 million would be really, honestly, great for George Kittle because, again, $13 million for a tight end is $3 more million than the next highest paid guy, and fantastic for the 49ers. This would be the dream deal for everybody involved. Yes, does George Kittle not make $20 million a year from the 49ers? Is he probably a little upset about that? Sure. He's still going to probably make that in the end in terms of brand deals and stuff like that. But $13 million a year is a lot easier for the 49ers to manage for their future cap space, meaning they can re-sign and keep some other important players who are coming up for big contracts. I love it. Listen, will Kittle sign for less than $15 million a year? Do you believe this well-placed source of Matthew Barrow at The Athletic? If you do, type Y down below for yes, type N down below for no. I'm going to type Y because he better, let me say it again, he better go ahead and sign for less than $15 million a year. That way the 49ers can be great for many, many years to come overall. All right, did you guys see this list from CBS Sports? You might have seen it on Twitter, but if you didn't, let me go and explain this in terms of Kyle Shanahan being a top 5 head coach. So CBS Sports went ahead and did this article where they ranked the top 5 head coaches entering the 2020 NFL season. You go, okay, well, let's see who they have. And it's like Brady, or Belichick and people like that. We'll show you in a second. They had Kyle Shanahan inside the top 5. And my question to you guys, is Kyle Shanahan a top 5 head coach right now in the National Football League? That's what we're trying to figure out here, because CBS Sports has him in the top 5. And if you look at some other head coaches, they have more experience and even some Super Bowls, but it shows just how high a lot of people are on Kyle Shanahan in terms of head coaches. Here is the top 10. 10 is Mike Zimmer, 9 is Doug Pederson, 8 is Pete Carroll, 7 is Mike Tomlin, and 6 is Sean McVay. So right there, just pause for a second. Kyle Shanahan is rated higher than Zimmer, which he should be, Pederson, who has 1 ring, Pete Carroll, who has 1 ring, Mike Tomlin, who has 2 rings, and Sean McVay, who I don't know why Sean McVay is there at 6, honestly. I think Sean McVay should be at 10 on this list, but we're not talking about the Rams right now. There is Kyle Shanahan, 5th overall. Pretty impressive, right? Pretty crazy that's how high he's rated by CBS Sports. I think it's honestly a pretty good spot for him. I think, obviously, Sean Payton has a Super Bowl win, and despite a lot of people not being impressed with what he's been able to do in the playoffs recently, you still got to put him there at number 4. Harbaugh's been fantastic in terms of getting Lamar Jackson ready to go. Andy Reid's a no-brainer, and we all understand that Bill Belichick still is the best head coach in the National Football League, at least in the past 20 years, probably ever. It's interesting what Sean Magoo, I believe is how you say his name, from CBS Sports, had to say about Shanahan. Quote, "It wouldn't be surprising if Shanahan, only 40 years old, is eventually the best coach in the league. He's certainly on that trajectory. Like Andy Reid, he's an offensive mastermind." And obviously you get that because if you put on any sort of film with the San Francisco 49ers, you see the mastermind, the great plays that Kyle Shanahan is able to call. I think this article, while it has some weird spots like Doug Pederson being at 9, and then you have Sean McVay at 6, and then Mike Tomlin, who hasn't won anything in a very long time, is kind of right, a little bit lower. I think it's the right spot right now for Kyle Shanahan, behind the Harbaughs, behind the Paytons, behind the Belichicks and Reeds of the world, is perfect. That should make a lot of 49er fans excited about what's upcoming in the future. Right now, these 49er official 49er official masks via chatsports.com/49 masks are still on sale, and they're at a great price. So a 2-pack right now is $19.99. You see some of the different options that you guys get. You can get this 3-pack right here for like $24.99. There's the original red ones that we had for the same price right there, $24.99. They're all there. Link down below in the description box, chatsports.com/49 max. These things are selling like hotcakes, and still are, because if you're in Texas, like Harrison is, I believe the governor just mandated wearing a mask outside anywhere. So if you're going to be in one of those states, which is probably going to be every state here soon, why not rep the 49ers and be safe in style? Chatsports.com/49 mask, the place to go ahead and pick that one up. One of the reasons why you should get a mask is because football needs to happen this fall, and it might not happen, of course, if the virus continues to spread. So, as you probably saw, the NFL is cutting preseason games. Now, if I wanted more details on this, I have it for you guys right now. The NFL is removing the first and the fourth preseason game for every single team in the National Football League. That, of course, includes the San Francisco 49ers. So training camp is set to begin on July 28th, but no longer will games actually be starting the second week in August. It'll be much later into August. ESPN's Field Yates has a perfect breakdown of this on his Twitter account right here. So obviously, July 28th, every single team, every single player for every single team will report to training camp, get all ready to go. Then you'll have a 23-day acclimation period to get ready for the first preseason game, which will be August 20th through the 24th, and then August 27th through the 31st. So that leads us into what preseason games for the 49ers have been officially cut. Well, I'm glad you asked. It's very, very simple overall. They're cutting the first preseason game, and they're cutting the fourth preseason game. So obviously it was going to be at Denver, and then the Raiders, at the Bears, and then the Chargers. So the Broncos and the Raiders have both been canceled. The 49ers will play at home at Levi Stadium against John Gruden and the Raiders on August 21st, and then at Chicago against Nick Foles, Mitch Trubisky, and the Bears on the 29th of August. So again, the whole reasoning of this apparently is to give the players more time to acclimate and get ready to go, which is under the assumption that they haven't had OTAs, they haven't had mini camps, they haven't had all the off-season workouts they are used to. So give them more time to get ready, which honestly makes a lot of sense. The only thing that this hurts is the bottom of the roster guys, those guys who are fringe players who are trying to make a practice squad or get in the final 53. Cutting preseason games cuts their chances to put reps on film in order to actually go ahead and make the team. So if you're a bottom fringe guy, this kind of sucks. But if you're a normal player, you're a starter, this is probably for the better to give you more time to get ready to go. Do you guys even watch preseason games? Like, be honest. Type 1 down below for yes. Type 2 down below for no. I'll be honest. I do tune into a lot of preseason games. And I'm a big fan, obviously, when the starters are playing. I'm glued in. Even if I know that it doesn't really matter, your team loses, who cares? Football's back, baby. Football's back. You just get excited for it. So go ahead and type 1 down below if you're like me. And yes, type 2 down below if you just want to get ready for the regular season. We also would like you guys to go ahead and subscribe down below by clicking that red subscribe button. And also, see below me, turn on the notification bell. 25,667 of you guys currently are subscribed to this show, and hundreds are watching right now, and thousands will watch over the weekend. If you're one of the thousands that are not subscribed or don't have the notification bell clicked, go ahead and click that for me right now down below. I would greatly appreciate that. Okay, final bit of news here, and this is interesting. This has not been confirmed, but I was reading on Twitter and this popped up. I think DJ Reed has had an injury. Now, I don't know for sure, but the rumor is that DJ Reed has torn his pectoral muscle. And so apparently the one of the defensive backs, I guess you can say, one of the backup defensive backs on the 49ers, who played 12.1% of the snaps in 2020, could be out for an extended period of time. Now, he's not technically the starting nickel cornerback, and that's where he played a lot last year, as K'Wan Williams is that guy. But if this rumor is true, that is a blow to the secondary in terms of the depth in the secondary that the 49ers, as we know, did not address during the 2020 offseason at the draft or free agency. They were very comfortable with sitting back and just sticking what they have at cornerback. And now you kind of wonder if that was the right move. Now, obviously, DJ Reed is not that important. You see him way down there below K'Wan Williams as the second nickel guy, but he still is the dime defensive, the dime cornerback whenever they go with one linebacker, where they go with four corners on the field. He's the fourth guy. That's why he played in 12.1% of the snaps. But again, the rumor is that DJ Reed has torn his pectoral. There have been no official word on this as of right now. So if you're watching this video tomorrow, whenever we re-upload on the channel, maybe it is official, maybe it's been debunked, but I was looking around on Twitter and found a bunch of news saying, hey, I think DJ Reed tore his pecs. We're going to go ahead and wait and see on that. We'll have the updates for you, obviously, whenever they come here on the 49ers Report. But that's the news for the day.